Hey everyone, this is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and I'm here with my brother, who will be here shortly, as we play Merfolk in Modern. It's becoming a deck all over again. We were 0% a month ago. I'm showing you how it's done. Not only am I making results, the rest of you are making results. I hear it out there. You're getting the list published because we're now up to 1%. We can push it higher. We're going to make Merfolk great again. And if you want to be part of this movement, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Before we get into our deck tech, we're going to thank our sponsor, the ManaBase.com. And the Fusion 5K Modern event just finished not too long ago. Jeskai Ascendancy won the whole thing, but to go check out the deck lists that made the top 8, you can go see that on the manabase.com. Your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And I have new patrons supporting me on Patreon. I didn't properly thank my patrons from last week. I didn't get their name. I forgot to edit their names in the little wavy bubbles at the bottom. So I'd like to thank them as well, and thank all patrons supporting me on Patreon. Thank you for supporting the channel so I can help you become better Magic players. So we are going to re-thank and thank new patrons, starting with Michael Morale. I'm going to thank Samuel Galasso. We're going to thank Noah Wallert for raising their pledge on Patreon. Jill Carlson. I'm going to thank Gail Hammett for raising their pledge on Patreon. Thank you very much, Gail. We're going to thank Robert Bradford. Kim Homsma. Andrew Woodford. Chris Armas. Sergio Maucarzel. Michael Dura, Joey Piparo, Alberto Corrier, Nick Coffin Callis, Firesock94, Carlos Alberto Cruz Rivera, Mihao Matrenchik, Sky Strike, Pakapon Virasireni, PK Louvre, and Tom Emma. Thank you all so much for supporting me on Patreon. And we have one last thing we gotta talk about: the giveaway. Lord of Atlantis cooking a shish kebab over a campfire. Who was the lucky winner this week? Bam! It was Nicholas Langrock. Congratulations, you've won Lord of Atlantis cooking a shish kebab. Contact me on Facebook or on Twitter or anywhere. Or if you don't, I will get in contact with you. So congratulations, but don't worry, the giveaways keep coming. We now have Lord of Atlantis cooking some shrimps over a campfire. If you love shrimp, if you're part of that Asian coastal area, well, whatever, you like to pay a lot of money for shrimp locally, if you live in the middle, like nowhere close to a sea, you might want this giveaway. It's a bit weird. You know, there's tons of seafood all over the sea. The Lord has caught himself some shrimp. So if you want to be eligible for this, go check out the description below, which requires, retweeting on Twitter, which is fine. But actually, there's a bit of a problem with those of you who share on Facebook, and it doesn't seem to be getting fixed. You guys, so let's look at the Death Shadow. No, not this one. Let's look at this one, for example. So I know 9 people shared it, but you need to make your shares public in order for me to see it. If I can't see if I can't see who posted publicly, then the information doesn't get to me, and you're not eligible. So you need to make your shares public in order to be eligible on Facebook. So there seems to be like 80% of people who are not making their shares public, and I can't see you. I can't see you. You can't be eligible if I can't see you. So sorry about that. Just making a big statement for so that you can get in the draw for the giveaways. So with that all being said, yeah, so this is going to be the list for this week. It still looks pretty well positioned. Like I've said many times before, I don't feel bad about playing 4 Mist Callers because You got to beat humans, you got to beat spirits, and you got to beat dredge. And Mistcaller is good against all of them. I really think you need to be on the board early if you want to compete, especially with humans and spirits. If you're not going to do anything of any meaningful impact on turn one, then you're just going to fall behind. I mean, they've got a lot of meaningful things to do on turn one, and you're just going to get crushed. So you need to pull ahead in percentage points against things like humans and spirits. I have to say though, Curse Catcher slowly looking like it's getting more playable because Mistcaller, I'm sure Mistcaller is good against Dredge, but Curse Catcher's not far behind. You can counter things like Faithless Looting on turn 1, or even Cathartic Reunion on turn 2. You can make it harder for them to go like Life from the Loam, bring a bunch of lands back, and then play Conflagrate. So Curse Catcher playable there. Curse Catcher also, I think, similarly good against Spirits because of... it still slows down Collected Company all the same. Like, the game should not last very long against Spirits. That's not a game that goes long. So if you can just stall them out on one turn, that's more than enough. But the point is you want to get on the board against a deck like Spirits. Mistcaller interacts better against humans than Curse Catcher. But still, you want like a 1-drop just so that you're doing something against humans instead of nothing. Curse Catcher also, I think, is somewhat playable against Spirits because they play Path to Exile and you'll choke them on mana. It's hard to play Path to Exile and also want to play creatures at the same time. But the thing is, so Curse Catcher is pretty good against those 3 big decks that I have Mistcaller for. But there's things like that Runaway Steamkin burn deck that I think Curse Catcher would be very well positioned against. I think an Amulet Titan is coming back. Like, it had a really good result in the SCG Open not too long ago. I believe it was last week. And the point is, like, now it's being seen all over the place online. It's probably going to end up being played at the GP. Not too many people will buy into it, but the point is, like, over time, if this deck is really well positioned, people will buy into it. It's not that expensive. So, and Curse Catcher is good against that deck because, first off, Mistcaller doesn't interact against Amulet Titan at all. Curse Catcher does. Because if they have 6 mana up and they play Summoner's Pact, you can sacrifice Curse Catcher, and then if they pay the 1 mana, they can't play Primeval Titan anymore because they need 6 mana. They only have 6 mana out, and they already paid 1 for the Curse Catcher, and then they have to pay for the Summoner's Pact. So Curse Catcher actually has some influence there. So Amulet, the Runaway Steamkin deck, Death Shadow sort of coming back. Like maybe Curse Catcher is going to come back, but it's not Modern's not to the point where I'm going to move in that direction. I'm going to still stick with Mistcaller, but I'm just saying out there, Curse Catcher could make a comeback. Still in love with Peak. I think Mirror Regery, now that Amulet's coming back, Mirror Regery is even better because you want as many things that is going to dodge engineered explosives, and Mirror Regery is another lord that is just not on the 2 CMC spot where you would just get hit with engineered explosives really bad. So more reason to be playing Mirror Regery. I don't have too much else to say about the deck. I mean, I've got the deck list and sideboard guide was published on my Twitter and Facebook if you want to check that out to have access to this entire deck and what I'm going to do in every single matchup. Still don't regret Surgical over Relic at the moment, but you know what? Anything could change. Modern changes. Modern comes and goes. Yeah, that's about it. So this is our deck that we're going to be playing in this Modern Challenge. Let's get into round 1. Well, this hand's no good.
It's fantastic.
It's 5 lands.
Nothing but creatures.
Well, I certainly would hope so.
You're going to regret this.
No, I will not. Spreading Seas. Yeah, we'll put that on top. That's good turn 2 play. What you gonna do with that Polluted Delta? What are you gonna do? Probably Inquisition of Kozilek. Play Death Shadow. Or just die immediately. Thoughtseize.
Which is the Black Peak, basically, right?
It is the Black Peak. That's right. That is the ultimate Black Peak. Peek and take.
Oh, he gets to take too.
Yeah.
So it's not a peak.
It'd be interesting to see what they take. Yeah, like taking one of the beefy threats is the best thing to do. Fortunately, we have a turn 2 play in the form of the Spreading Seas, which is going to help us catch up. I'm going to play the Oboro. Um, just in case my opponent plays Kolaghan's Command somewhere down the future, I could dump the land or at least return this back to my hand. But somewhere down the line, this will be resourceful. So Serum Visions. Oh! Nothing to do. Well, Spreading Seas has something to do. We got a bunch of miscallers here. So they're stuck on lands. I'm sure they put... What did they do? Put card on bottom and one card on top. Okay, so they're still going to be deprived of some color of mana.
Hopefully black.
Oh, it's black. Yeah, they're down on black mana. So they have probably Lightning Bolt. And with the trigger on the stack, I'm just going to put the other one in play. After I put this thing on the stack. And then we can tick it up to 2.
Get that Rajiri going. Ooh.
Yeah. I'll save the image to copy Rajiri.
3 tap triggers. That'd be pretty sweet.
It would. It would. Death Shadow online.
They're not playing Death Shadow.
I think they're playing Death Shadow. In my opinion. Yeah, I have to take this thing up to 3. I don't want to, but I mean, our hand has 2 3 casting cost creatures. This is fine.
Rajiri for... Oh, I guess it wouldn't matter.
Gotta play this first. Hide the information. They shock themselves, so it's actually much like... I'm not going to play Rajiri this turn, I'm going to play it next. I'm going to play at the end of their turn to choke them on mana. Because otherwise they're just going to use a Lightning Bolt, kill the Merfolk. So I want to suffocate them on their mana. And if they want to use their mana efficiently, they're going to bolt something right now, but it would have been the Merfolk.
He called it.
I called it. I'm the Merfolk master here, people.
Either that or he's cheating.
What's this? Another Serum Visions, okay.
Whiff.
Conceded. Yeah, so this has to be Grixis Death Shadow. Some chance it's Grixis control, but I think because of Thoughtseize it's Death Shadow. They can't afford to lose that much life. What's my sideboard guide say? My sideboard guide says a lot of things. I know I'm taking out like an Ether Vial, probably the Tectonic Edge. Should have had this available already. Death Shadow. We're going to bring in a lot of counter spells. Because Mistcaller's no good. It actually was not too bad in that game, but not that good. And Tectonic Edge is not that good. So we're going to bring in all the counter spells.
That's right.
And I need to...
Make some of them extractions.
Oh no, I'm not bringing that many deprives. Okay, that's fine. So interactive. Spreading Seas.
Could take out 2 of those and bring in some extractions.
Spreading Seas is not the most amazing card in the matchup, but it's still a cantrip. It does slow them down. It chokes their mana. They don't have that many black sources. They don't have that many red sources. They don't always have that many lands in play. And on top of that, the most important thing is that it adds devotion to Master Waves that can't be removed by Merfolk. Everything else is good. Oh, Venser. There we go. Okay, submit this deck. Venser, great. Bounce Gurmag Angler, bounce Death Shadow, have a body on the board. Looks like you're going to have to mulligan again.
Oh.
Last time, too many lands. This time, not enough lands. And by not enough, I mean none at all. Well, there's nothing here.
Spreading Seas is sort of a land.
This sounds good. Phantasmal Image, pretty vulnerable, especially in a hand without Ether Vial, so I'm tossing it. By the way, traditionally, we sided out Ether Vial against Grixis Death Shadow, but it's really hard to play with Phantasmal Image without Ether Vial. Like, you're really vulnerable to instant speed removal. So I think shaving. We're still shaving mana. I took out the Tectonic Edge. I took out an Ether Vial, but we're still going to be playing with the Ether Vial overall.
The
So
thing
my
is
opponent.
stuck.
What?
The thing is stuck.
Oh, the chat.
The move history. There you go.
Play Island, and I probably should have done this at their draw step. I'll let that resolve, I guess. Basic swamp.
For a basic idiot.
I don't like the idea of them stubborn denying this. 2 Anger of the Gods. Death Shadow, Snapcaster, Snapcaster. So, their hand's terrible. This hand's awful. This is just an awful hand. They're nowhere close to casting this Anger of the Gods, both of them. Snapcaster Mage doesn't do anything because they can't They don't. They need 3 mana, and they can start using it, I guess, with Inquisition. This hand's just stone terrible. So what do we need? We need Island Walkers on the board, I guess. That's going to be a start, because they have no removal. They might be thinking of, I don't know, casting Snapcaster Mage here now? No.
You called it.
Doesn't do anything.
Get that black man out of the way, though.
I guess... Well, they have 2 sources of black mana. I want Master of the Pearl Trident on the board. If I play Merfolk Trickster and they draw a land, they're going to look at my hand, take the Master of the Pearl Trident. Don't like that. On the other hand, if I get to cast Mirror Rejury next turn, that's not bad either. I can still attack into a 2/1 Snapcaster Mage. I guess we can just play this. And then, like... Next turn, I can just play Merfolk Trickster. I guess they're going to go on the beatdown plan with their Snapcaster Mage. Okay, they found a land, so now they can Snapcaster Inquisition. They're going to have a funny choice, because I can just Spreading Seas their Steam Vents. Okay, they take the Spreading Seas. So they leave the creatures, which means we are now vulnerable to a red mana source. And I think we're just gonna attempt to race. Just hope that red mana source never comes. If they want to be able to play their Death Shadow, they should let this through. Something we can do at their upkeep, we can Merfolk Trickster their Steam Vents to make sure that they can't cast Anger of the Gods. So I mean, we Merfolk Trickster, we get a trigger off of Mirror Rejury. And then when Merfolk Trickster enters the battlefield, we can tap the Death Shadow.
No attacks.
I'm not attacking for enough. Well, I'm going to attempt to attack for 3. Hopefully there's no removal in hand.
Just
Takes it on the chin.
So you're going to add his upkeep or whatever?
At upkeep, I'm going to Merfolk Trickster, tap Steam Vents. Merfolk Trickster, tap Death Shadow.
That's a go.
But I'm only hitting him for 7.
It's fine. Disables it for a turn.
So this is just insurance if they draw a red mana source this turn.
The beauty. The beauty of Rajiri and Trickster together.
The magic, people.
That's right. What are you gonna do that for?
What I don't like is they keep drawing cards. Ooh, they did find a land. Okay, so I need to do something. No, I can actually, I can attack them for 7, then they can't crack the Bloodstained Mire anymore. Because then they die. Ooh, I've got this now too.
Pretty good.
I think I'm just gonna hamper them on land though. They go to 1, they're attacking for 12, 16. I do not die. Ooh, I forgot to take up my Aether Vial. I have nothing in my deck that costs 1 mana. Just totally forgot about Aether Vial. Would you like to crack your Bloodstained Mire? Okay, I have nothing to do on this side. Yeah, it was over. So, oh yeah, with nice clean victory against Death Shadow. I mean, there was a little bit of danger. I mean, there was actually quite a bit of danger at the end. What bad things could have happened? I mean, well, we can counter any expensive removal spell. Like, well, I guess Kolaghan's Command is shut off. Collective Brutality is shut off. We were at 18 life. So I could, I can take 14 by blocking Snapcaster Mage. And then, yeah, like, we don't lose. Unless there's, like, even if they play 2 spells, like Lightning Bolt, Collective Brutality, we have the Spell Pierce. So, anyway, that was a nice, good, clean, easy victory. Game 1. Aether Vial didn't help us at all, but the things that did help us were Merfolk Trickster. Peak! Let's talk about Peak! We were only able to play like this because of Peak. We knew exactly what was going on in their hand. Like, attacking my opponent down to 1 could be dangerous sometimes. I might want to just chip away with the Mare Regery, hold up the Merfolk Trickster on blocking duty to preserve our life, but we knew that if we put our opponent to 1, they can't crack the Bloodstained Mire to cast their Anger of the Gods, the 2 Anger of the Gods in their hand. We played in a way that was not normal because we knew what was going on in our opponent's hand. So that this was a victory by Peak. Totally. Once again, as in a million times. So yeah, Peak is just amazing. But what kind of lesson can I turn that into?
Just put that. Peak is amazing.
Peak is amazing. You don't have your peaks yet. You better get them.
This is not a paid advertisement. Okay, Richard Garfield didn't come here yesterday with a big sack of money. It was last
Cha-ching, cha-ching. It's hard to get your peaks. You know what? Even before I was like promoting it to everybody, I looked all over the internet. They were like sold out. Mostly, I think, because of Pauper. Because of the popularity of Pauper, Peak is in that format. Everyone bought them out already. So even though it sees no competitive play, outside of Pauper, they're like all gone. So I'm trying to find my foil peaks. I would love foil Japanese, but those are probably super gone. So anyway, remember this week's giveaway is Lord of Atlantis cooking shrimp over a campfire. And we're going to thank all my patrons supporting me on Patreon, and we're going to thank our sponsor, themanabase.com. This has been Nikachu with his brother, still steamrolling people with Merfolk in Modern.